There it goes.
I thought that first one
was the only one.
I was like, dang. I'm quiet noise. Oh, yep, there are my...
Oh, let me move it closer
ones.
too. The mic basically has to be in front of there, okay? Because those are my waves. No talk.
Yeah, and then...
Those are your waves.
Always so small compared to hers.
I think one, I know how to project. Two, I think I'm Irish a little bit. And three, I had to grow with 3 boys. So getting my mom's attention was very difficult. So you just kind of learn how to project.
Meanwhile, I do not project, but that is okay.
I think that shows our personality differences.
Yeah.
I'm aggressive and loud, and you're passive and small.
Small.
And I'm the short one, and you're the tall one in this friendship. It's perfect for our friendship. I'm the small, angry one, and you're the tall, nice one.
Yeah, exactly. How the world was meant.
That way.
Yes. Well, welcome back.
I'm Tessa.
Everybody. Yeah. This is episode...
excuse me.
11.
You're supposed to introduce yourself.
I'm Lyrica.
And I'm Tessa. And you're watching Shake It Up.
Yeah, this is episode 11 because we didn't realize that the episode we did for Inside Out didn't post until
I had to post it the same day we posted Jennifer's body. They're moving furniture above us. But yeah, I found out that it didn't post right when I was uploading the 10th episode, and it said failed to upload for some reason. When I remember it uploading, it was processing when I exited out. So maybe I exited out right when it started processing, so it wasn't fully uploaded. So that was my bad. But also I was rushing because of your Pride thing at work.
Yeah.
So, oops. But you got 2 episodes on one day, so that's nice. We didn't take a break, we promise. We're just stupid and didn't realize. I just peeled off a scab. Oopsies.
That's also why we were like, are we on episode 9 or 10? And I was like 10 because that's what YouTube says, but no, we were not. I mean, 9.
But we were on 10, and therefore this is 11.
Yeah.
Should we say how our week was real quick? In short words?
Sure.
We're trying to get this episode done in like an hour to an hour and 30 minutes so Lyrica can make dinner.
Yeah.
Because she actually cooks dinner. I really should. I'm planning on going to the grocery store on Friday to get food.
Yeah.
I've been living off of bread, butter, peanut butter. And that's about it. But I don't really usually eat dinner anyways because of the fasting thing. But I kind of want to have like smaller meals to have at dinner time, possibly. Or maybe to bring it to lunch so I can stop spending my money at work.
I haven't cooked this week at all, though, because...
You've been busy.
My week. Yeah, I was been busy because I have gone to drop my car off at my mom's house, who lives an hour away, so it could be taken to go to the mechanic. So I did that Monday and had dinner with them and drove back here in my mom's car, went to work, and then yesterday left directly from work to get my car to come back here. So yeah, the past 2 nights I've been here for like an hour.
Yeah.
I go to sleep. Because I've also worked 6 a.m. every single day this week. So I've been awake at 4:50 every morning. So I've had 1 singular hour of being at home. So obviously I'm not cooking.
Yeah, makes sense. Is that all from your week? Do you want to talk?
Yeah, my brakes are fixed and I don't crash my car.
Thank God.
In an accident.
We need to also get you windshield wipers. Did you get windshield wipers yet?
No.
I need to replace mine because I think mine are broken. Even though I just bought it like 2 months ago. But I think mine are broken. Oh, no, I got it in December. I think I accidentally snapped a piece off so it's not as stuck.
Yeah.
So I think I just need to replace that one. The other one I think is fine. But we'll go windshield wiper shopping for you. And I'll teach you how to put one on. You don't look excited. I also need to show you where your stuff inside the car hood.
So much car stuff I need to do because when I got my oil changed, they were also like, "Well, you'll probably need new tires in like a year." I'm like, "Can this car stop needing things, please?"
Yeah. Well, a good way to gauge it at home, so you can see how long, is seeing how deep the treads are in between the hill thingies and the thing, the tire stuff. I think you're supposed to put like your finger in it, and it like gauges off of your fingernail, or like a quarter in it or something.
My finger.
Well, I'll do it for you. I have normal fingernails. Lyrica has long fingernails, so because of her acrylic nails. So I'll do it, and then we'll see. I have to look on the internet what it is, but I need to show her where her windshield wiper fluid stuff is, just in case she ever needs to refill it. I need to show you your oil, just in case you ever need to check your oil. And you know how to change a battery, right? I need to show you how to change a battery.
I know nothing about cars other than I can check the tire pressure of my tires.
Well, that's good. And then probably the last thing is, you don't really need to do it because I barely know how to do it, but changing a tire, knowing how to do that. And then windshield wipers, I'll show you how to do. I learned all of that stuff on my own, basically. So, except the changing a tire, I learned that from driver's ed. But, and I think my boyfriend too, he needs to change a tire, and he showed me how to. So, I know how to do it. I just have good car insurance where they'll do it for me. They'll tow my car and do it for me. But yeah, I got it. Ow, I hit my fingies. I'll have to show you the basics of all that stuff, which luckily isn't too hard to do, and we can do it in one session. And then, is that it? Is that what you were going to say? I don't want to start if you still have more to say.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than today, I don't feel the best, so.
Mentally or physically?
I just feel ick. Like, I
mentally or physically?
I didn't sleep well. I had a headache all day.
Do you need caffeine?
I had some caffeine.
Does this have caffeine?
I just don't feel
it does have caffeine.
the best. Yeah, diet.
If you want to sit. I don't know. Some diets don't. Some sodas don't even have caffeine, and I thought they did.
Yeah, so I'm just feeling very tired.
Actively yawning.
Yeah. I just don't feel the best. Also, my lunch was trash. So.
What did you have?
Well, I made ramen to bring to work, but I didn't leave enough broth, so my noodles sucked up all my broth.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did my eggs, but I put too much water, so they turned into hard-boiled eggs.
Gotcha.
Even though I didn't go to the hard-boiled egg thing. But, so.
It might have just solidified and turned into hard-boiled.
I was like, so the ramen, with no broth. I didn't have my eggs.
You couldn't eat your eggs? You didn't eat them?
I did, but not in my ramen. Because it's just like hard-boiled eggs. I was like, I'm not putting those in my noodles. Yep, so that was today.
Maybe that's why you feel ick.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have a good meal. But tonight you'll have a good meal.
Excuse me. I'm also burpy.
So that's great for the podcast.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. She's taken.
But
But
how was your week? Since I never ask it.
yeah, you never ask me.
I just finish and then you start talking. Also, tomorrow's Tessa's birthday.
Yep, I'm turning 24. 24. I can't wait until I turn 25 because I want to say, you know what's funnier than 24? 25! And I want to wear that on a tiara or something. But
be like me and feel like I'm 5 years till 30.
No, I don't really care about being in my 30s. I think it will affect me more when I'm in like my 50s or 60s because then you're that much closer to death. But like 30s, I'm not too freaked out about. I think it's because my mom like had the best time when she was in her 30s. So, and also my mom is still kind of young at heart, so she still goes out and has fun, and she's in her 40s. So, I mean, like, I'm not too worried about that. But, yep, turn 24 tomorrow. We're going to go out to dinner with my parents. I'm shocked they don't think we're together. Because it's like taking your partner out. But I literally asked that. I was like, is it okay if Lyra could come? She's like, of course. And I was like, okay, good. Because she was still going to come even if you said no.
Because we're going to do a hot pot.
Yeah, we're going to go to a hot pot place because I really want to go. My stepdad doesn't really actually like hot pot, but they have sushi there and he likes sushi. So he's just going to order some sushi. Mentally, I've been checked out this whole week, I think, because my ex-boyfriend is coming on Friday to drop off his key. And so struggling mentally with that, being like, great. Because we're not even going to see each other. I told him to just leave the key at the door and leave and just tell me you dropped it off so I can go grab it from the door. Because I physically don't want to see him ever again. So, but just knowing he's going to be in the vicinity. That's not the right way to see it. Vicinity?
Vicinity.
Vicinity.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
So, I've been pretty bummed for like the past week and a half. But, you know, I had a new tattoo still, so I'm happy.
Should we prank him? No, just kidding.
Prank him?
Should we set something outside the door that like he steps in like glue or something?
Steps in glitter?
Yeah.
He puts it down and then and then there's glitter all over him. Glitter bomb him from the other side of the door. Yeah. No, because I'm scared he's going to use the key to get in.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
So maybe when he leaves, key his car? No. Huh?
We'll set it up outside the door that you take to go into the apartment and hope nobody walks in. Because then you'll have it already.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's
just by like, hey, wait, open the door. Hey, wait, come back. And then throw a balloon at him full of paint.
Yeah.
Oh, I really want to do that. I won't, but I want.
It's the petty thoughts.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And I just remember that I want to go to Walmart tomorrow. Nope. Friday. Because I asked Friday off. I'm taking Friday off for my birthday. Because I'm not actually taking my birthday off. Because I have to do a lot on Thursdays at work. So I want to.
Breaks up your week weirdly. Because then you're like, yay, like I have a day off. And you're like, I don't have to go back another day.
Yeah. And luckily Fridays aren't super, super busy usually. So, but I want to go. I'm doing like everything I need to do on Friday besides relaxing, except sleeping in. But I need to do like my laundry. Well, I have to fold my laundry. I have to do all my homework because I've been pushing it off. And then I have to, there was another thing I had to do and I can't remember. Walmart.
Your hair.
Oh, I got to do my hair. Dye my hair again because somebody actually asked me if my strawberry blonde hair was natural. And I went, nope. I dye my hair bright ass ginger red. And it just fades into a strawberry blonde. But I wish my hair was naturally this strawberry blonde. I am a strawberry blonde, but you can barely notice the red notes in my hair until you start bleaching it. Then you know.
But ear roots right now.
Yeah, they're really grown out. But luckily, I think I'm going to go to Walmart first before I dye my hair so I can get a dye brush. So it's a lot easier to apply. Because I keep applying it with my hands and I find like these little spots that I missed. And I'm like, it's probably just easier to just throw it into a bowl, mix it, spray it into a bowl, and use a brush. Even though maybe I'll just apply it and then use a brush. Because I don't know how the bottles, because I dye my hair at home. I don't know how they will if I let them out exposed when it's supposed to be in the bottle. So, but yeah, I'm down, but everything's fine. We're both, you're physically ill and I'm mentally ill. We balance. So, today for episode 11, we're finishing off Pride Month with a suspenseful movie of, it's suspense.
Sorry, I was thinking, I guess we technically have one more week, but we're finishing off our, like...
No, we don't.
Because it'd be...
No.
Oh, no, because
July 1st
we'd just be recording still.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I was thinking...
But it won't be Pride Month when we release it.
Yeah, it's a suspense movie. That's not what I was...
Gotcha. It is a suspense movie called Knock at the Cabin. I keep wanting to say Knock on the Cabin.
Knock on the Cabin. Knock at the Cabin by our favorite M. Night Shyamalan.
Midnight Malama.
I like to call him M. Night Shyamalan. Llama Ding Dong. Which I've noticed a lot of other people also call him that in YouTube comments, but I thought I was original in calling him that. But
no one's original nowadays. Even Midnight Shyamalan. Mm-hmm. I cannot say his last name.
M.
Even
Night
if
Shyamalan. I think it's
Shyamalan.
It is Shyamalan, yeah.
Shyamalan. No.
My brain wants to Shyamalan.
Yeah. My tongue doesn't agree with that last name.
If you don't know him by name, you'll know him by his horrible, horrible Avatar: The Last Airbender live action movie.
And if you don't know that, he also did the horrible movie Old.
Yeah.
Apparently, I've never seen it.
But the really great movie, Sixth Sense, so... Oh, he also did Split, which you don't...
Awful movie! I hate it.
I've never seen it.
So. We're gonna watch that next then. Because it's a bad movie. Well, okay, it's good up until, like, the maybe last 30 minutes. It's bad. Because it ties into the... It ties into another movie franchise that I can't remember. Do you know? No. Give me a minute. Let me Google it. It ties into the movie conglomerate. It's not conglomerate. It was a late. I can't because it goes this movie, then Split, and then they do a whole movie called Glass. So that's the third one. Mm-hmm. This one was the second one. There's the first one. Split franchise.
Came to my mind after you said this. Like, oh yeah, I guess
Unbreakable. So it's Glass, Split, and Unbreakable. Unbreakable is number one, then Split, then Glass, because then it has all three.
I didn't even know that there was the first one.
Yeah, well, you'll see the tie-in at the end of the movie because you don't even know that it's tied in until the last 5 minutes where they make a tie to it. But I've never seen Unbreakable, and I refuse to watch Glass.
Yeah, good old M. Night Shyamalan. He's
insane.
That's good.
I know he's so rich that he can make a shitty movie and still survive.
Yeah, he also likes to take like subject matter like that's already a thing. Like Old is based off of a graphic novel. Knock at the Cabin's based off of a book. He likes to take source material and then like mess around with it to varying degrees of success. Because I like Knock at the Cabin.
I did too.
And critics like Knock at the Cabin. It's got a fresh score. But I guess the book, he like completely like disregarded the book. But the book rights were sold, so he technically can do what he wants with it.
Yeah.
It's not like,
it's loosely inspired.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's not 100%.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Old, like the graphic novel's like leagues above the movie. Like it's a good graphic novel. But yeah, so I like Knock at the Cabin.
It makes me want to read the book because I want to compare them.
The book is interesting. There's a YouTuber that I like named Amanda the Jedi. She covers movies where she'll like compare the book if it has a book to the movie, and so I watched her compare the two.
Does she do Star Wars?
I think name is Amanda. I think she likes Star Wars, but I don't think she's covered them because she usually covers movies that tend to be bad or interesting or like weird. Like she did all of the 365 days, did the after movies, compared the Twilight books to the movies. But yeah, so she did a comparison of the book to the movie, and yeah, the book is way different than.
I'm interested. It makes me want to read the book because I want to know more about the story.
Yeah.
Because if the essence is roughly the same, like the same kind of, not storyline, but has like the same kind of themes, I would be really interested in. Are the two characters gay in the book?
Yes.
Oh, then I really want to read it.
Yeah.
Because then I want to read what they're thinking, I think.
The book,
because the movie doesn't do that,
is
really.
more ambiguous
leaning
rather than more direct like this movie. Because this movie is made for the mainstream, so even though it can have a little bit of ambiguity in it, it's not super ambiguous because mainstream audiences don't particularly like ambiguous.
I'm a hit or miss. Yeah. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Like, I've never read The Mist, but I know the book version of The Mist, and I like the way they end it there. Then
I love The Mist
in the movie.
Well, I don't love The Mist, but I love The Mist for the tragic ending of the movie.
See, and that's not in the book.
Yeah, it's so messed up. I won't say anything because you have to see that movie happen, and I just want to blindside people at the ending. Even though it's been out for a while, but that's a movie that you gotta see that ending.
Yeah. But in the book, it doesn't have that at all. It cuts off like right before that point. And the director was the one that put it in. Actually, I think Stephen King actually liked that ending. Mm-hmm. Well, not liked. He thought it was
Yeah, I heard that.
He thought it was a great way to show like the story.
Yeah.
But
it's devastating. But anyways, quick rundown of this movie. Strangers show up to a cabin of a gay couple and their adopted daughter Wen, and they're like, we have been sent here because you guys have to make a choice to sacrifice one of your loved ones to save the world, and if you don't, then different plagues are going to be released on the earth, and eventually all of them will add up to the world ending. And the couple is like, how can we believe these people? So the movie tends to have a lot of questions while you're watching, up until the end of, are they being honest about that, or are the things that they're saying coincidences and they're just using them to enact, like, one of the things that's said in the movie is like a suicide cult, or they're having shared delusions, like, are they actually like the world gonna end? But the movie at the end ends up being pretty explicit about like that it is real. Yeah. So that's basically the whole movie summed up. I mean, like, other stuff happens, of course, and we're not going to do, like, summaries because they take too long, like, going beat by beat, but that's general
talk about themes and topics and everything.
If you see the trailer, it outlines basically the movie. The trailer gives away a lot of what happens. So
it doesn't give away, like, them, like, killing.
No, it doesn't.
I did not anticipate that. I was shocked with the first one. Who died, I was okay with.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, seems like an ass.
Yeah, which there's a lot.
By Ron Weasley.
Yeah, Ron Weasley's in this.
Ron Weasley can play an asshole.
Yeah, Dave Bautista's in this.
Oh man!
Which, you know, if you're a Marvel fan, you know him as Drax. If you're a wrestling fan, you know him as just Bautista, even though he doesn't wrestle anymore.
He's a yummy man.
He's a yummy man. Also, from the interviews I've seen, he's also a very nice guy. At least interview-wise. Yeah. Because you never know, like, where they're
at. That. I feel like a lot of the wrestlers are truly nice guys.
And he really cares about his acting. Like, he, out of, like, all of the wrestlers turned actors, he seems to be the one who's really interested in, like, roles that have a lot of, like, depth to them, even though I watched an interview today, he typically gets typecasted in action movies, and because of how he looks, so people don't let him play these more nuanced roles, so he really enjoyed this role, and everyone's like, wow, Dave Bautista's acting is really good.
I was really impressed.
Outside of an action
my brain didn't even think, like, he was a wrestler. Like, it felt like he was not, but I do also think wrestlers are also actors, very good actors.
Yeah.
Me and Lathan got into an argument. Lathan's my brother. Hi, Lathan, if you're watching. Me and him got in an argument because he doesn't like The Rock as an actor. He's like, he's always two-dimensional. I'm like, have you seen Journey to the Earth 2? He's great.
Yeah.
But I also can see, like, The Rock is always in action movies.
Yeah.
But I also see Jumanji as a comedy movie.
Good in, like, different ways. Because I think The Rock is a good actor.
I think he's fucking hilarious.
In different ways, but Dave Bautista, he more wants to do the, like, more serious roles where, like, The Rock does really good in comedy and action.
Yeah.
And he seems more drawn to those roles.
And Dave Bautista also is really good at comedy, too. Yeah. Drax is a very funny character.
I love Drax. He makes me
laugh. If I had to watch Drax or if I had to watch The Rock and Jumanji, I'd watch The Rock and Jumanji. Because I think if I want to watch something comedic, Rock's good at stroke comedy. I think Dave Bautista is really good in serious roles. John Cena, perfect. He doesn't need to change anything.
Yeah.
He's good in action, comedy, and possibly serious. I don't know. He could be good in serious.
I don't think I've seen him in anything serious, but I find it interesting that he did play the role of Peacemaker, because he's like
I hate him.
An asshole, but also he's meant to be, like, at least in the Suicide Squad movie, being, like, those are our anti-heroes that, like, we're rooting for to do things, but he's not good.
I didn't root for him 1 minute. Yeah. The minute he killed, I forgot his name already. The leader. Who's the leader? He was in Suicide Squad 1. Leader. Fuck Cara Delevingne in the movie.
Oh, yeah. I know
the military dude.
Yeah, I forget his name.
Him. The moment he killed him, I was done.
Yeah.
And Lathan looked at me with, like, a face because I was like, I hope Harley and him end up together. I like them together. And then he didn't say anything. And when he died, I looked at Lathan with pure shock, and he started laughing, being like, sorry, I was going to say something, but I didn't want to ruin your day. And I'm like, this is so much worse. But anyways, Dave Bautista's character in this movie.
Yeah,
he's a teacher.
Yeah.
/ coach.
Second grade.
Yeah, and then what were the other people's names?
Ron, Sabrina. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what the girl's name is, the other girl, but
she's a line cook.
She's a line cook. She has a son, and then you have
Ron, who his name's not Ron,
Rupert
but I don't.
Grint playing. His actual name is Rory O'Bannon, but his name he says to people is Redmond. So you have those four,
and he works for a gas company.
Yeah. And so you have these four people who show up, and there's a lot of interesting things I think brought up in this movie. Why I like this movie is I like the moral, like, pondering of the essential question, like, that they keep asking in this movie is, like, they have to sacrifice a loved one. Like, the loved one can't sacrifice themselves. Like, to be like, I'm taking myself out. You have to physically kill your loved one. Like, and of course, because this couple is gay, there's also underlying things that have happened to mostly Andrew, but of course to them both being gay men is this world that typically, has, gay people aren't
treated the best.
It's so
discrimination, violence.
Are they going to give up their love and sacrifice one of them to save this world that has been cruel to them? And there's also a general question of just this world that's cruel in general. Like, Andrew, who's, I'd say he is kind of like the main guy, because we usually follow him mostly in the movie. He also says something about, like, he's a prosecutor and he's seen cases of, like, children, like, brutally murdered. And also they bring up in the film as well, like, earthquakes and, like, things that could happen, but also just shitty things that happen to the world that could just happen normally as well. And kind of a question of, well, is the world really worth saving? Like, so I find that question of the movie very interesting, and like I think about it myself, like, would I kill my loved one for a world that has been cruel to me? Like, I mean, even though I can't put myself in the shoes of like a gay man, like, would I do that? And also, like, we've seen how like shitty the world is, and we make jokes sometimes, just like
burn it.
Like, would I really just save the world, or would it be better off if it's just
you just burn it?
Apocalypse, and then everything. And so, of course, that's the moral quandary of the movie, is the family. One doesn't know if this is real, because there's a lot of things that could be seen as a coincidence, because like one of the things that they bring up is an earthquake that had happened hours before they even got to the cabin, and all the scientists said if this earthquake happened, it would cause this massive, like, what is it, like a tsunami? Is that the wave? Yeah, it would cause that, so that earthquake happened, so therefore the tsunami was gonna happen anyways, and so they question, like, well, if that happened hours ago, how do you, like, we didn't cause that, like, so, and then another point of contention is, like, what their motives are, because we find out that Redmond was this guy who had seen Andrew and Eric in a bar once, and presumably, they don't, like, outwardly state it, but hit Andrew over the head with a bottle because he was drunk, and also a homophobe. Like, so there's these questions.
Well, he did it because he wouldn't have gotten arrested if he didn't.
Yeah. No, like, he did it, but I meant, like, they don't say, like, he's a homophobe, but it feels like the reason 100%. Why, like, it's not explicitly said, but you can tell, like, because they were talking and
being lovey-dovey,
he had a problem with it. So there's also the question of, well, are these people targeting us, like, because we're gay? And some of the stuff they say does sound a little bit like maybe conversion therapy-esque, like, near the beginning, because they're trying to get them to trust them. So, yeah, that's one of the things that I really like about this film, is the moral idea of, like, murdering your family, but it's like, the idea of one versus many. Like, do you save the many or do you save the one? And, like, in this circumstance, the one is, like, a person that you love, not just a stranger. Like, would you shoot them to, like, save the world? So I was curious to know your take on that whole entire question that they're asking in the film.
It depends on who I'm with.
Yeah.
Give me two people I'm with, and I'll tell you if I would or not.
Well, the movie per se is like a romantic love.
Well, I don't have a romantic love, so I can't imagine it.
Yeah, so, but like,
I would.
I was also thinking, well, one of the people that they could sacrifice technically is their daughter, which would be really
a horrifying situation.
Really,
if I had a child, I wouldn't kill a child.
Yeah, so like
I can say that as a
which they were like, that doesn't cross their mind in the movie. Like, the thing that ends up making Andrew decide to save the world is for their daughter, not for like himself. Like,
and for Eric,
yeah,
because Eric was like pleading, like, you need to save her. Yeah. So I think it was also Eric also being okay, and him saying, I'm okay with this. Yeah. I think that also convinced him.
Yeah, so if it was like, we'll say, it's your family. Like, you're in this cabin, like, you and your mom and, like, your brothers went to this cabin and say...
Well, obviously, I love my mom, but if it's me, my brother, and her, she would obviously be like, kill me, and I would be like, okay, I love you, and I would make her last moments sweet. But, like, okay, but if it was me, my mom, and Jeff, I don't know who I would choose.
Or would you choose anyone and just let the world go?
I would choose.
Yeah.
I don't think I would, because even though there's so much evil in the world and evil, I see evil all the time, and I wanted to be a cop, and I wanted to go into the FBI. So I've seen evil. I listen to true crime. I've had bad things happen to me, but like, what helps me is I see the good.
Yeah.
Like, you see the goodness in people. And even though I joke, like, burn the fucking world, I say burn the bad people. But also burn the world. I think, like, they're still good. And what really helps me is watching children. Whoa, okay, that sounds weird. Watching, like, videos of people, like, posting on TikTok of their kid doing something really sweet or being really nice to them. Like, I saw a really cute video of a mom who she said on the TikTok, she felt self-conscious in her body, she didn't feel pretty, and she said, like, she finally wore a dress after all these years. And the minute her child walks in while she's, like, recording her in the dress, she goes, "Oh, Mommy, you're so pretty. Look at how pretty my mom is." And I'm like, okay, I don't know if I want kids now, because if my kid can be a hype man, hell yeah. But like that, you see like the little goodness and the little nuggets. Plus also, I don't know how I feel killing a lot of children. I don't feel that way. Because specifically the plague was towards children.
Yeah.
And the second plague was a sickness for children who were dying.
Yeah.
And I don't feel comfortable with that. And if it was me and my like two brothers, I would say kill me, do me. Because they're younger, and two, I think at that moment I would be okay with it. Because kind of like Eric, I think he sees the goodness in people. And I want to, hi, Go's right in front of me. I don't want to.
Our special guest today.
Are you going to meow for me? Meow? Meow? No.
Special guest Go making her appearance.
But I would choose. Now, if it was strangers, I could easily do that.
Yeah.
That I don't mind. I can't say for a loved one because I've never honestly been that truly in love. Where if it was like us against the entire world, I would be like, I don't want to do it. I think like I've never had that kind of love. Because if it was me and my ex-boyfriend, I still would be like, is it okay if I shoot you? Is it okay? So maybe that isn't love. Maybe I just haven't felt like that kind of love before. But I'll get back to you once I'm actually loving somebody for the rest of my life.
Update. Yeah, I feel the same way, I think, because...
But you'd be the one being like, me!
Yeah.
Kill me!
I'd probably be like, yeah, kill me. But, I mean, it definitely wouldn't be, like, an easy decision, which I think we see, of course, in the movie, is they eventually end up choosing, because Eric is like, well, the world doesn't deserve that, and Eric tends to be the more optimistic kind of person in their relationship, where Andrew, which, of course, Andrew, he kind of has some more reasons, is he tends to see more of the darker stuff going on, and he's had a traumatic thing happen to him, so he has more pent-up anger and, like, hatred for the world and for people who don't, who hate, like, gay people. Like, I think he has a lot more hatred, so he doesn't really see what Eric sees. So, like, definitely wouldn't be an easy decision, but I don't also see, because another thing that happens in this film is every time that they say no, they're given 4 chances to say no, or yes, then the person dies out of the 4 people who showed up. Which Redmond, I'd be like, I don't care. But after, like, the other girl, I can't remember her name, even if she was lying,
I got it.
and she was like, and she told me that she had a son, I'd be like, well, dang, like, she's dying because I can't choose, and, like, that, I would think that's, like, son doesn't have a mom anymore, and, like, I could just, you know, be taken out and make sure that she
there's
continues.
Sabrina. Sabrina's the girl you're talking about.
Sabrina's the other one.
Why does it say Sabrina for both?
Oh my gosh. Yes,
Hold on, let me do IMDb.
Sabrina's the nurse, I remember that.
Well, this is for both. Let me get the actual on the IMDb. Adrian.
Adrian, okay. So after, like, Adrian told me that she had a son, I would be like, oh god, I want to see this person die in front of me. Because after the first guy, they know that this is going to continue to happen. It's not, like, out of nowhere. Like, with Redmond, they're like, oh my god. Like,
so I feel like me and you're, like, more like Eric. And then I'm more like Andrew, because I'm more of the cynic. I could see myself being Andrew and being like, this is fake. And picking out all the things that he's picking out, I would be in the same boat. And, like, even though, like, feel bad, even though she has a kid, I can see myself believing what Andrew's saying, being like, we don't know that.
Yeah.
You've given us no proof. Why didn't you bring the fucking photo?
Yeah.
Well, then I might have believed you a little bit.
Yeah, which is another interesting part of this movie, because there is the option of just not believing and then seeing what happens after they all kill themselves, and what if it was, like, completely fake, and so then you sacrifice someone for no reason? Would you, like, wait for it to play out and unleash these plagues? So that's another thing that happens in the film that you're like, oh, like, would I just wait and see? But then if you wait and see and it actually is the apocalypse, then, like...
Then you have less time to choose.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things going on, like...
I think in the back of my head, I would be thinking of who I'd kill, either me or the other people. I don't know. Who would you, if it was you, your Nana, and your mom?
Me.
Here's the thing. I'm a logical person. I can set myself out from emotion. My biggest thing is age. If my grandparents are in the picture, they're dying soon. I still got 50 years. They got maybe 10 or 20. I mean...
I just don't think I could shoot any of my loved ones. Like, I would...
Then have the other person shoot them.
Yeah, but... Like,
yeah, you just look away.
So...
Run away like when? Go into the fucking
my mom would have
treehouse.
to kill my Nana. I feel like she... That's, like, the part that I get hung up on. I'm like, if it was the apocalypse, I feel like, and I had solid proof of the apocalypse, I would be like, okay, one of us has to die. But it's the fact that like, you don't get to kill yourself. Like, somebody else has to, like, shoot you. So I'm like, or...
You close your eyes and look away.
So I'm like, I don't know.
And then you go to therapy for years.
How I could do it, or, like, if I'm the one asking, like, sacrifice me, like, how my mom would be like...
You honestly think your mom and Nana would shoot you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so then it's like...
I think your Nana would sacrifice herself. Knowing your Nana. She'd be like, yeah, I'm ready.
Then it's like, well, then is my mom going to shoot, or am I going to shoot? Like, I don't want to do
You know
that.
what you could do? You could do, like, a trap.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you got the gun, and you tie a string around the trigger, and then you go around the room onto the other side, and you just pull it so you're not even near it. So it's like, I technically didn't do it. The string did it. So, I mean, you rationalize it. But then you just go to therapy. You go to therapy for years. You don't tell them you killed your grandmother, though, because that might be... Just say she had a tragic death.
This make me think. Logically, in the movie, I'm like, so once, like, Andrew and Wen return, how are they going to explain where Eric went?
Died in a car crash.
But then wouldn't people be like, where's the proof? Or, like, wouldn't police be like, there's no death record?
No, just use the many excuses of all the plagues that are going on.
Yeah.
He died in a plane crash. His plane fell.
I guess that starts just, like, made me think, like, where'd he go? Oh, he tragically died.
He died in a plane that fell from the sky.
Yeah.
You really think a policeman's going to be like, I'm going to research into this? Yeah. I think they're going to be like, yeah.
See, that is the plague in the movie that I'm like, that one I don't know how I can explain away. Like, Andrew's like, I don't know, but it's still not true. I'm like, but so many planes and they're not even connected to one airline. He says something about terrorists. I'm like, how is... Unless they're like...
They're hacking into multiple.
But like, they're like, the news say like 100, like 200 planes went down. That's a crazy feat for like...
Yeah. Well, no, because most planes are the same model. It's like a Boeing. Yeah. Most planes are Boeings. you just hack into Boeing and you have access to all. I don't know this. I've never done it, but that's what they thought would happen to the Malaysia airline.
I think you would have to be able to target though then and be like, I'm going to target Malaysia airline. This was like all airlines.
You don't have to. So I wouldn't think you have to.
I just don't think there's a database that's like random Boeings. You would have to be like, okay, this airline and then randomize it. But I don't know. It just seems like a lot of like
maybe
things that wouldn't.
I would possibly believe in that, or it's just a worldwide malfunction with Boeings. Something happened with the Boeing because there have been issues along many Boeing airplanes with their like computerization, their computers inside of it, there's stuff in there that pilots can't control, and that's why sometimes they go into a nosedive for no reason because the computer is janky and being messed up. I would want to look at the black boxes. The black boxes would explain it. But
I just feel like that's so many.
But to go back to the plagues, we didn't explain what plagues are there. There's an earthquake that turns into the tsunami. There's a children plague that are killing children, kind of like COVID, but on the flip side, where it's all children dying instead of old and immunocompromised. The third one is the planes falling from the sky,
which also set fire to a lot of things.
Yeah, because planes have a lot of gas. And then the fourth and last one is like a storm.
It's a thunderstorm with lightning.
It's purple lightning too.
Yeah, that also causes massive fires, and it says it's going to bring the world into eternal darkness. So I'm assuming that means that it's a storm that like
continues
and never ends, and eventually like
burns everything.
Yeah, so
which makes sense. But those are the floor plagues. So I think my biggest gripe is I don't understand why Eric says they're the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah, I don't get it. The movie specifically color codes them to match the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and people have been pointing that out, but like I think it's an M. Night Shyamalan thing where he's like flipping it to the point where it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's what they were going for because the coloring is like a pale yellow, white, red, and then the other color I think is like blue or something like that. So it's supposed to signify the four horsemen color-wise of what they're wearing, but then M. Night Shyamalan like tried to like flip it to be like, oh, these are the good things, except Redmond is malice. And it's like...
Malice isn't even one.
Yeah.
It's conquest, war, famine, and death. Those are the four horsemen of the New Testament. While in the Old Testament book of Ezekiel, they are sword, famine, wild beasts, and persistence/plague. Oh my God, they should have had wild beasts. That would have been fucking cool. So even so, malice isn't even one of them.
Yeah,
it could have been war.
He is doing like because they flip them. So nurturing,
which would be the opposite of conquest. Nurturing would be because conquest is taking over somebody. Nurturing is giving life to somebody.
Then there's Leonard is guidance because he teaches kids.
That would either be famine or death.
Yeah.
Which it wouldn't be either.
And then one's healing, so
that would be famine.
Yeah. Well,
wait.
I think nurturing is famine because famine means no food. Nurturing means you're fed.
Okay.
So
famine.
Yeah, and then you have
nurturing. Nurturing. Then we have healing, which would be death.
Yeah.
Okay. War would probably be wrath, guidance, and conquest.
Yeah, guidance and conquest.
I don't see that one.
So I think it's an M. Night Shyamalan thing because
he shouldn't have made that connection.
The book brings up that they're the four horsemen, but I think the book does. But I don't think it ever states the opposites, or like I think that's an M. Night Shyamalan thing.
I think what they should have done is have them all have bad past that represent the four horsemen, because then it might have made sense to throw Redmond in there, because then War, he would be Malice. So, and then that would have been an easier connection to the Four Horsemen. Putting them in color-coded clothes to the Four Horsemen, but then also be like, they're the opposite, but also this one isn't the opposite. That doesn't make sense. Unless you do all of them kind of like that. It is
very confusing. It's a M. Night Shyamalan
That would have been so fucking easy to do.
I think
being like, she stole food from the homeless. So now she gives food to the homeless.
I think M. Night Shyamalan's just over here, like, messing with shit just because he can and he likes to.
He's... You're so good up until that point where I'm like, I don't understand.
Which a lot of people say, like, M. Night Shyamalan, he will have, like, some good things, and then, like, he'll just throw something in it, and it's like, why did you do that? Like, it would have been fine with that.
I thought it would have been fantastic to have the Four Horsemen, because that makes sense. That's why there's four, and they're bringing the plagues and the apocalypse and everything. That makes sense. Everything made sense until he flipped it. And I'm like, why can't they all just have something bad that represents the Four Horsemen? They overcome it, but then they come back to it. That's why they were chosen. Not because they're good. Well, now they're good, but like having that past, like Redmond would have been so much better into the connect. I need to write your movies.
I don't think M. Night Shyamalan thinks too, like, he tries to be very, like, meaningful with what he's doing, but then he tends to miss the mark with what he's doing. Where, like, it's a good idea, which then he, like, does stuff, and then it's, like, too much. He's very too much sometimes. Like, I read a comment on the YouTube today that was like, On YouTube. They were like, M. Night Shyamalan should just cover source material from, like, they said these books that I'd never heard of before, but the reasoning was because those books are crazy and can be, like, so, like, nonsensical that, like, he could just run wild because he likes that. Yeah. Like, he could just go ham on something like that.
And it was like, he's good at nuanced things. So I know he's good at it. But, like, yeah, he'll just throw a curveball, and I'm like,
he just misses
why? You made 6 cents. That's one of the most mind-fucking movies in the world, if you've never seen it. But you're this close. I would have given it a perfect score, 100% score, if they didn't just fuck up that one part. Now I have to give it an 80 because it doesn't make sense to have 1 bad and then 3 good. Because then, fucking kill Redmond. I don't care. But also, it would have tied in so much easier if they were all like Redmond, but got better and were good and then represent the opposite. Like having Sabrina be like, or just not even like they were bad people. Like in the past, she witnessed a car accident and she wasn't able to help. And that could have been like hot. That could have been like death. She had death in her life. Or maybe it was like a friend of hers or something. And that's why she became a nurse. That's the death. We already have the war, which is the malice. Also, why use malice? You could have just used war because we would have gotten it. Like, obviously, he's not like in the war, but like he has elements of fighting. Yeah. And then having, I already did the line cook. She used to steal from the poor, but now she cooks for the poor. There we go. You got your famine. And then, I don't know about conquest. How does one conquest? He has a rape allegation. There you go. Jeez. And then he got better. Because he has all that tattoos, maybe he went to jail. And then he came back. And then, oh wait, a 2nd grade teacher can't have a rape allegation. Yeah. Well, knowing our system, sometimes they do. Yeah. But so you could have easily done that, where they all had bad things either happen or were bad. Like Redmond, that represent the 4 horsemen and why they're connected. Not just the color coded. And then they're the opposite. Yeah. I don't like how Redmond's just out. I don't get it. Make them all good or make them all bad.
Or in the book, then, like, it's more ambiguous, so therefore it lends itself more to a questioning of, like, are they like lying? Because like this movie, they're like at the end, he's like, yeah, they are the four horsemen. See these connections? The book doesn't give you that, so it leaves you more with a question of like, can we trust these people? And also the plagues are a little bit more ambiguous, so it's harder to know.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting. But yeah, this movie, I don't know why M. Night Shyamalan was doing that, but
it would have been so good.
I have another
I love it, but it was not executed well.
That I wanted to bring up because I didn't think about this when I've seen the movie, and I've seen it 3 times, but it's been popping up in the video I watched today, in the comments, in movie reviews, that there's actually an issue coming up from gay people talking about the way that gay people are, the story handles the gay people, because M. Night Shyamalan is straight. The guy who wrote the book is straight. And so the guy who wrote the book said that he made the characters gay because he had a gay aunt and a gay cousin, and those were influential people to him. But people are questioning, like, the way that the guy who wrote the book, he said that he wanted them to be gay, but the point of the thing is they're just a normal family. But people are discussing that because they're gay, especially because we don't have a lot of representation, like grand representation, it's not even with like straight representation, that the movie therefore is going to be seen with the gayness in the forefront. And I guess the thing that I didn't recognize is they're saying M. Night Shyamalan's not doing this on purpose. And also, the actors who play the gay couple, they are gay. Also, the actor that plays Eric, I found out, this is just a fun fact, that's not related to this, he's the voice of Kristoff in Frozen.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
Kristoff. I was thinking Olaf. And I was like, Olaf? No, he's not. That's Josh Gad.
I just learned that today, and I was like...
They had 2 gay actors for Frozen?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really Kristoff? He looks like Kristoff. Never mind, I can see it.
It, like, blew my mind. Anyways, because I was looking up, like, what they were in, and it was, like, Broadway, and somebody was like, I loved him in Frozen. And I was like, what? And I was like, yeah, he is in Frozen. Anyways.
That makes so much sense. He could sing.
That was just a fun fact. But, yeah, so...
Oh, I can see it now. Yeah. I can hear the voices. Yeah.
They don't think M. Night Shyamalan is doing this on purpose, but apparently there's a rhetoric that religious people like to use that gay people are, like, ruining the world. And so there's an interesting thing that keeps coming up, and I'm not the smartest person to be able to dissect it, because I'm not very well versed in LGBTQ rhetoric and, like, very deep, like, dives into it. But the thing that it is the thing that the religious people will say is that the gay people are ruining the world, so therefore the family being gay, they, like, if they don't choose, they're ruining the world. And so it's kind of an interesting...
Oh, I didn't think about that at all.
I didn't think about that either, but there can be a negative...
Well, in all honesty, that wouldn't be Shyamalan's fault.
No, like, they didn't think that was his viewpoint or the author's viewpoint at all.
Mm-hmm.
But because the author, why he made them gay, he was doing it to be nice, but because he's a straight guy, he didn't really think about the ramifications of making a gay couple be the people that decide things. Mm-hmm. So therefore the apocalypse happening could be seen as the gay people are ruining.
I think actually,
the world. Which of
I
course
feel like
don't believe.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously. I think Shyamalan kind of mentions it. Maybe he did know that there were some issues, and maybe it wasn't in the book, because they kept saying it. You're doing this because you're gay, and they're like, no, it's not because you're gay. But maybe it also is a conversation being like, if this is a working of God, is this then a punishment because they are gay?
Exactly, which is what people are pointing out, because the idea of the movie is apparent. They don't say God, but they say
it's God.
Somebody,
if they're the 4 horsemen, then it's
somebody
God.
chose. Eric says he saw somebody in the light. There's somebody who's controlling.
What was that supposed to be? Was that supposed to be like him seeing like the person that created this?
It's supposed to be
like God?
Ambiguous because he has a concussion, so we don't know if he's actually seeing somebody or if.
If he was seeing someone.
Yeah, I think
was that supposed to be like the representation of the higher power / God
the higher power.
Gotcha. Because I was like, why the fuck are you mentioning this? I don't understand. Or maybe instead of God, maybe it's Satan who's doing it, and he's punishing people. It could have been Satan.
Yeah.
Would that be better then if it was not God but Satan? Or would that also be bad?
It's interesting because, the thing that somebody brought up in the YouTube comments, because I wasn't really, when I watched the movie, I didn't think about this at all, but somebody made a good point that religion and, LGBTQ are so closely, tied together and in tension, have tension because, the Bible gets used to bring up that, you're going to hell, you're sinful, you're all of these things. So those two being closely linked together is what then arises this issue of, if the gay couple's starting the apocalypse, there could be people who watch this movie and they're like, oh yeah, the gay people, they do.
Yeah, but technically they save the world. So I mean,
yeah, they save the world, but then there's also a question of, so God is making the gay couple sacrifice one of their family members, not a straight couple. So is God then?
Well, they said it happened more. It happened in the past with other people too.
That's Eric questioning. We don't know that for sure. He says, well, maybe families have been deciding this forever, but it's left up to the ambiguity of whether or not that's true. Yeah, people are just reading into that, which I kind of thought just one person, but then I looked it up and there's a lot of reviews bringing that up, but I'm not a LGBTQ scholar, so I feel because I don't know or I'm not able to deeply think about that other than being a part of the community, that I don't have the resources to put those things together. Also, I'm not big into religion, and so
I think it also, I mean, from the standpoint of us, we didn't see that, but it could be maybe that is something that's happening. For other movies, it's clearly it's an actual theme. But there's also a lot of people who do confirmation bias. They believe something in the world, they watch something, and that's all they see.
Yeah.
So it could be a case of confirmation bias where somebody who did grow up in religion was taught those ways. Now watching media, they see those things in ways that we don't see it, confirming their beliefs of this movie is showing that gay people are bad and bringing on the apocalypse and one has to die. It is targeting. So that could be a confirmation bias because me and you didn't grow up that way. We didn't grow up thinking gay people bad, gay people go to hell. We didn't grow up thinking that, so we don't see that when we watch something. So we don't have that confirmation bias. And confirmation bias isn't a bad thing all the time. It's bad in the way of if you live by it and you don't listen to outside sources. But everyone has a confirmation bias. And I can see it here, it is a thing. I'm not saying it's not a theme in everything. In this way, I can see it either way now being pointed out.
Yeah.
It's really up to the watcher, too.
Yeah.
You can't stop what somebody's seeing.
Thinking about, because...
Ooh, somebody just screamed outside. A child.
I think that's what becomes an interesting, thing to talk about, because I think you can view it in different ways, because I was also seeing people in the YouTube comments being like, well, no, that's not how I viewed it, and some people are like, well, I'm straight, and that's not how I viewed it, I'm gay, and I did view it, or I didn't view that, and, when I watched it, I thought this was actually more of a statement on, the gay couple is, like they have such a strong love for each other, and seeing it more in a positive light. Like I didn't really think about the religious connections. I was like, oh, like they have a love that's strong, kind of showing that, this gay couple, they're like a family, like kind of not like trying to put them in the place of a straight couple, being like, see, they're the same because gay people don't have the same.
But there's this stereotype that you think that gay people live in a different way all the time.
Yeah.
When that's not really true. And seeing them act in a way that you would see straight couples is refreshing because there's not a lot of issues. Because I made the joke after watching it being like, there's not enough drama. They're not yelling at each other. They're not, I mean, they yell at, Andrew yells at Eric, but it wasn't in a way of like, what I would imagine like a straight couple doing it. Like it would be like yelling and people throwing shit and getting angry and everything. And Andrew is angry and Eric is the more calm-headed one. He also did have a concussion. And I think it's refreshing to see like it could be a normal, a quote-unquote normal couple, because everyone that's straight and homophobic thinks that it's a whole different life. They're living in sin. They're doing dirty, nasty things. When in reality, they're normal. They're normal. They act like a family. And honestly, they act more loving than I see straight couples. Yeah. And they're able to communicate with each other in a proper way. And it was nice for once to not see like anger and yelling and I cheated on you and shit like that you would probably see a straight couple if they were in this. So it shows that, honestly, I think it's the healthiest fucking relationship I've seen in any movie.
Yeah, like I saw it as like a good thing. Also, the actors are gay, so like they're actually gay guys playing a gay couple and gay guys, so like it's not a straight actor stepping into the role, like pretending. And I watched an interview.
They didn't do stereotypes of a gay person.
They didn't do stereotypes. I watched an interview with Christoph, aka
we're calling him Christoph now.
Being like, oh, it was refreshing to be in this mainstream movie because this movie, even though like it did okay, like box office, it still made a significant amount of money. It was from a big studio.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like, it was refreshing to be able to be a gay guy in a movie that was mainstream, and also he said he felt like he could really kind of, even though he's acting, be himself at the same time, not playing
straight role. Like Christoph.
Yeah, and so I can definitely see where the religious stuff could be put into question. Also because there's just a weird line that Eric says where Andrew being like, they hate us, like why would I save these people? He said they're just scared, which kind of seems a little bit like Eric being like, oh, they're just misguided, where some homophobic people, like, they could be misguided and learn, but then some are just hateful people that aren't going to learn. So just dismissing them all as that they're scared, which could just be...
It could be him coping.
Yeah, is like, I could see that, but also I think it's just a thing where M. Night Shyamalan not being a gay man, that he doesn't have that outlook, because I don't think he has any ill intent at all. Like, I don't think the guy who wrote the book has any ill intent, because he was like, I made them gay because there's gay people in my life that really made me who I am, and he said he wanted to, like, treasure them or, like, represent them and kind of put them in the book without putting them in the book. So I don't think they had any ill intention. I think it's just a point of view thing where, like, most of the people who were bringing up the religion were gay people, so therefore they have that connection to the tension between being queer and religion, and how those two can butt heads, where the straight director and the straight author, they don't have those perspectives per se, other than knowing people. But yeah, I don't think they did it with any ill intention. I just thought it was a very interesting thing that people brought up. But I also thought that the movie brought up the, like, issues and made the gay couple, like, really
realistic.
Yeah, like the adopting their daughter, like they had to pretend like they weren't gay, and that his wife, Andrew's wife, was away, so that way, they could adopt Wen and be able to, because they adopted her from China, which I don't know much about China, but I'm assuming they don't allow same-sex couples to adopt, so therefore,
no, absolutely not.
Yeah. So
they're a communist country, so I think
we see that, and like I thought that showed like the hardships that they go through as a gay couple. Same with being attacked, or men attacking
even the
them.
like minor things, like Eric's family, being kind of standoffish, but they're not they're not outwardly homophobic, but you can tell they're uncomfortable.
It's actually Andrew's family. Like Andrew's like, oh, they stayed, and then Eric's like, my mom's on the phone, and you get a little thing that shows that Eric's family is very like welcoming, because she's like, oh, how'd it go? Like telling them where like Andrew's family's walking away, and they barely stayed. So I think we get to see like those realities, and also like they're not, done for laughs. They're not done for like I don't know, like
they're not like over the top, stereotypical. What you would think straight people would make gay people be, and I think that was the best casting, and should be casting when you have gay characters, casting gay actors, because they can say like, this isn't something us gay people would say. Like, this is not something like we would do. Like, this is not how it works. And I think they would be able to point it out.
Yeah.
So maybe they didn't even, like, notice the apocalypse gay theme.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't even think about it. Or maybe they did, and they didn't think it was that big of a deal, or maybe they didn't feel comfortable enough to say it.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll see an interview where somebody brings it up, and we'll see their reaction to it. But can I go back to it? I had a thought on something. The I'm scared thing from, not I'm scared, they're just scared thing from Eric. See, I can see it going either way, where it's more of a straight view or it's more of a gay view.
Yeah.
Because, like, the whole essence of religion is people who are scared. Yeah. Like, religion was built to bring comfort to people when they die.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't, no offense, but all religions are like this. It's to bring comfort. And usually it's to people who are vulnerable, who are scared, that are brought into it, or raised in it, or convert to it. And so, like, I think, in essence, Eric is correct. People are just scared underneath. That doesn't allow them to be acting homophobic, sexist, racist, anything like that. It's not an excuse. But in essence, I think he is correct. People are just scared. And I think they're scared of dying in hell. And they think that they can save people by doing this shit. Or they're just truly hateful people and they use religion as a scapegoat. But most of the time, it is people who are just scared that turn to religion, or people who are vulnerable. That's why cults happen, religious cults. It's because people are vulnerable or scared or don't know what they're doing, which is the essence of being scared, and they convert or go to that religion. Yeah. So I think from that point of view, I can see it being a white man. Shalom is not a white man.
He's not.
Sorry. A straight man point of view, but also a possible gay man point of view. Because also, it could be also just him rationalizing dying for those people. Yeah. I could see it as also a comfort thing, being like, it might not be true, but for me to die, I need to believe that these people are just scared.
Which, I think...
Which I 100% would do.
Is what...
Comfort.
That's how I view what he was saying, too. Because he says you have to have faith, and I don't think he means, like, have faith religion-wise, because I don't think they're religious, really. But it's more like, have faith in that people can be good, and also, I think he's saying have faith that the world will be a good place for our daughter to grow up, and I'm thinking about our daughter, and, like,
have faith is like believe in me.
Yeah, believe in what I'm saying, but also believe in the world that good things can happen. Like, I think he's also saying, like, look at our daughter. Like, I see a good future for her. I see her growing up and being who we've always wanted her to be. And you're there with her. Like, see, these are the good things that you can have and I believe is going to happen. So have faith in that. Like, maybe not have faith in the entire world, because Andrew, I feel like he's not kind of the person for that, but at least have faith that it will be good enough for our daughter to live in, and for her to continue to grow up and, you know, not live in an apocalyptic world, because that's another thing he brings up is, well, think of when, like, yeah, all three of us could continue to live, but we'd be walking the earth, and that's not a future for our daughter. Like,
yeah, and then when they die, she's completely alone.
Yeah, which somebody brought up is, like, she would be alone in a world
she dies
with nothing, and so that's not a world for her. So I think he's just like, believe in me, believe in her future. So yeah, I think that was what Eric was going for.
Have faith in people. Yeah, that's what I was reading. Yeah, just have faith in people. Because my brain process, also going back to the first question you asked me, is, yeah, you'll kill all the bad people. But what about all the good people? Yeah. Should the good people die because of the bad people? And I can't live with that thought.
Yeah, same. Which I think is very interesting, because I find Andrew very interesting, because I can see where he's coming from. Like, he has a lot of, like, anger towards the world, and I can see, you know, that anger being justified in, like, his mind of, like,
it's me against the world.
It's me against the world, and, like, I don't think, you know, he's a bad person for being angry at the world, but it's, like, you can't take out, like, that anger out on the world. Like, you can be angry at things that happen, but are you going to kill all these people just because you have this hatred?
Yeah. But he redeems himself. He goes through with it and everything. So, I mean, like, that's what redeems him to me. Because I see myself in Andrew, because I'm also mad at the world. I don't like the world with everything that I've seen. I don't like it. Like, I've seen crime scene photos on my past work of a child. And so, like, it's not easy to see that in the world and be like, no, the world is awesome. I love it. It tears you down and it breaks you, especially if you're directly in that line of attack, of being attacked. Yeah. If something ever happened to us, like, I could see both of us turning against the world and being like, fuck you. I don't care anymore.
Holding that, like, resentment.
Yeah. And I think it's also interesting because, Andrew was attacked, and he has, to rationalize it for people who don't understand it, is to be like, he was attacked. It's kind of like with women. Like, you don't know who is a homophobe. Yeah. You don't know who is a bad man who will attack you. So you have to play safe for everyone who fits that category. So for Andrew, he probably has the most anger towards, like, white men. Because maybe they're the most aggressive, because he was directly attacked from him. So maybe when he was thinking, like, fuck the world, he's only thinking about those people. And I think when Eric brought it down to their level and said, think about our daughter. Because I don't think he was thinking about, like, anyone else. Like, no children, no women, no good people. I think he was only focusing on the bad, homophobic people.
And or so just the bad in general. Because I think he also says, like, the prosecuting folks, like, doing
who do you think does most of those crimes, though? Yeah. Are they white men?
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, like, even so, I think he only focuses on that small demographic.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm parched. And when he brought it down to reality, that's what snapped him out of it. And that's why he followed through.
Yeah.
And I also made a joke saying, like, I think Andrew should have died and Eric should have lived. Because Eric is obviously, I think, the more nurturing of the two for Wen. Because, like, at the end, you just see him driving up, not talking to Wynn and everything. And I'm like, you can't, like, give her a hug? Like, he never hugged her. And I'm like, can you please give her a hug at least?
Yeah.
And I think it's because he's detached and that just happened. But even so, you would think, comfort the child.
I do think, I saw somebody talk about, like, why are they not reacting more to Eric's death? But somebody said something that I was like, oh yeah. Which, like, once they get in the car and the music plays, the boogie shoes, and then Wen turns it off, or Andrew turned
it off, then Wen turn it back on, and then turn it back off.
Yeah, then he turned it back on. People were saying that's kind of Andrew coming to terms with, like the good things, and so, like, he's the kind of guy, like, he was like, I want to, like, listen to the song, and now they kind of feel kind of a sense of love with that song coming on, like, thinking of Eric, but it's not, like, I think they were kind of, like, in a space where they hadn't had time to grieve, but they had that song, that's what reminded them of Eric in the moment. It's kind of what people are going. I think that song is going to, if I further it, that song will be their representation of Eric. So every time they listen to it, it'll be like Eric is still with them. Yeah. And maybe he's still singing along with him. Yeah, which I think some people also said that maybe that could have been a sign that Eric is with them, like, if we were believing. Yeah, it randomly turned on. Yeah, and, like, because Eric, he said, I believe, like, I saw a figure, like, that will help me come to terms with dying as well as Wen having the life she deserves. And so that was, like, the radio. So, yeah, I think it was weird, though, that he never hugged Wen, but I could see that as them just, like, even though this thing just happened, they had that song come on, and maybe it was, like, a sense of, like, comfort in that moment, being like, oh, like, maybe Eric is here with us. I think it's just they have two different parenting styles. Eric is more nurturing, and Andrew's more, like, maybe the protector. Yeah. So you can kind of see almost the, like, strike roles into them, which I can't really say if that's a good or a bad thing or a neutral thing, because I am not a gay man. So I will let that up to the people that have valid opinions towards it. But, like, her butt just rubbed against it. It's okay. You guys got a little butt kiss from Go-Go. I almost said your name. That would have been weird. So I could kind of see why Andrew doesn't do it, because maybe that's not his, like, forte per se. Yeah. Like, maybe that's not how he deals with comfort or deals with a child, is, like, hugging them, comforting them. Well, Eric, maybe that's more typical. But, because, when I'm thinking about it is when Wen is scared, she goes behind Andrew. Yeah. While with Eric, she sits in his lap, she hugs him, she does all that stuff. She's not really directly behind him for no reason. Like, the only time she's behind him is to help Eric escape from his ties. But every other scene with Eric and her, you see her and him closely together, hugging, stuff like that. While with Andrew and Wen, you see Wen more behind Andrew. And the only time was when Adrian grabs her and puts her into Andrew's lap. She didn't go willingly into Andrew's lap. She was placed onto Andrew's lap. So maybe that kind of shows the dynamic of one's more nurturing and one's not. So maybe that's why he didn't comfort her physically. While we would, like, be like, hug the kid, goddammit. Yeah. Like, in the treehouse, didn't really hug the kid. I think he was, like, close to her, which is, like, close enough. Or maybe she hugged him and he didn't do anything. Because I remember them hugging per se, but I think she hugged him and he didn't really do much. But he was also in shock. So, I mean, like, that's understandable. Yeah. Like, none of the other times he really physically comforted her. Yeah. And Wen is young, so that's probably why she didn't really understand. Like, she knew he died, but really didn't understand what death meant. Yeah. And then Andrew, he didn't cry because he was probably still in shock. Wen said something really sweet, though. Like, when Andrew comes up to the treehouse, she said, "Did Daddy Eric save all the people?" I was like, Oh, that's so sweet, but also so sad.
Yeah. Well, what's really nice and maybe a way for her to cope is, my dad didn't die for no reason.
Yeah.
He died to save everyone, including me and Daddy Andrew. Yeah. So I hate saying that. Daddy Andrew and Daddy Eric. I know because she's a child, that's fine. But when I say it, I feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Especially because it's towards gay men.
I was thinking.
That is not probably what they enjoy.
But I was like, in the future, is she going to continue to say
that?
Or is she going to just be like, Dad's?
Well, yeah, she would probably, if Eric and Andrew were still hot, if Eric was still alive, she'd probably call them Dad Eric, Dad Andrew towards them and probably to other people so they can differentiate which dad she's talking about, like how I do with Jeff and my dad, bio dad. So, but maybe also in the future, maybe she just calls him Dad. Now that Eric's dead, now there's no distinguishing per se to him. She could probably just call him Dad, but maybe as a coping mechanism, maybe she'll still call him Dad Andrew. To keep kind of Dad
really thought
Eric.
That. I was like, because you cannot be calling somebody.
She'd probably be an adult and not call her parents Daddy.
People who are like adults who are like, that's my daddy. It just is weird now. Like, I'm like. As a kid...
If it's your actual father, weird. If it's your boyfriend, don't say it in public, but I get it.
But, like, as a kid, it's, like, it makes sense because, mommy and daddy. But, like, once you get older, it's just so weird. So I'm like, I hope she's not going to be like, that's my daddy, Andrew. Like, please no.
No.
I just had... I thought about that.
Well, it's weird because, like, that's a completely different thing in the South. The South, like, that's normal.
Yeah.
Like, you call... your father when you're an adult still daddy, but you call your mom. I think it's weird, but like in the South, it's like a cultural thing where it's okay. And I still, I don't. When I watch Big Brother and Nicole called her dad daddy, I'm like, ugh, stop it.
It's weird.
The only time that's absolutely okay across everything is if you say I'm a daddy's little girl, because that's a phrase. Yeah. You're not calling your dad daddy. It's just a phrase.
It's just weird now with the, like, especially...
Kink.
And, with the kink, like, and it's just so weird. But, I do think Eric had to be the one to die, though, because I think he is the one who he sees, like, the good and wants to believe that, where I feel like, even though Andrew was like, kill me, I think, it was, like, it's an Eric thing, like, his personality that he makes the most sense. And I think he also helps Andrew kind of, like, see that we can keep, like, you can see the future of our daughter. So, like, maybe it's healing for Andrew, even though, shooting your loved one probably is
not the best thing.
Yeah, but being able to see Eric, like, I think Eric says, it's a sacrifice, like, even though this is not a good thing will come out of it, like, a sacrifice. So, I think Eric had to be the one.
When I think about it now, 2 reasons why I think Eric needed to die.
He had to go, sorry. That's just such a nonchalant way. He had to go.
No, he had to die. It was because, 1, if he lived, plot-wise, there wouldn't have been any development whatsoever.
Yeah.
2, I think it also shows some development in Eric's character.
Yeah.
Because the whole movie, Andrew's the one, like, don't talk to him, talk to me. He's the more active, taking the lead, and Eric's the more mild one. And in this moment, he never stood up. He never talked back, really, to the kidnappers. I'll call them kidnappers, because technically they kidnapped him. With Andrew, he's always fighting back. He's always having quick wits with that one, while Eric is the more passive one. And when it comes to it, he's able to make a stand and say, no, it has to be me. It shows the character develop, but if that didn't happen, he would still be the passive one, the one that doesn't really speak up, the one that, with him saying, no, it's me, you have to kill me, then...
Yes, can we help you?
Oh, she hit the mic. Hopefully that didn't pick up. But without that, like, Eric wouldn't have ever been, like, the one to take a stand. And he finally did take a stand. And so it shows to his development, even in that small time.
They both had...
Stop hitting the mic, please.
They both had their development.
Yeah, and in their own ways, too. So, yeah, without Eric dying... I was just pissed off because I was like, I like Eric as my dad more. But for plot, it makes sense. Yeah. Like, it had to be him. But, yeah. I would give this a solid rate. I would actually give it a 9.5. I actually really enjoyed this movie. This was a bomb movie. Also, I got to stare at Dave Bautista.
No, and
hell yeah.
It was great.
I wasn't focused on his acting most of the time. I was focusing on his ripped pecs popping out of that shirt. Excuse me.
Such a, like, YouTuber was talking about it. She was like, you have like a brick of a man in there.
And they were making jokes about it, too.
Because she was talking about the shower scene where she's like, Andrew shoots the shower and you see this tiny little window and it's like, no way is
that man
Dave Bautista fitting through a tiny window. Of course, Andrew, he's behind the shower curtain. What are you thinking?
No, I would have seen the window go, hell nah, close the door and then run.
Yeah, I was like, he's for sure behind the shower curtain. Like, even though he does a shot, he can still bend down. Yeah, I think she said something like, "What? Why are you shooting? There's, of course, a brick of a man behind that shower curtain." Like, yes.
Obviously.
Yes, there is.
Also, I like how he shoots, but doesn't even look.
Yeah.
Like, what if you missed? You don't even know where your target is.
Yeah.
That's a tub. He could be in the front or the back or the middle. You could have... You don't know where you're shooting.
Andrew, what are you thinking? What was your thought process with that one?
Zero thought process.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm gonna shoot, and then... He's, of course, tackles in that bathroom, unless...
And he took the gun away from him so easily. I'm like, really?
Unless Dave Bautista's like, Mr. Fantastic can get all rubbery and just slid out the window. There's no way.
No, he's more like the Thing. Brick of a man. He's literally a brick of a man.
He's very attractive man.
Also, I don't appreciate... I'm going on a little rant. I do not appreciate them calling him the Thing. That's rude.
Yeah.
Name change. The Rock. It obviously has to be The Rock. Yeah. He can't be the Thing. That's fucking disrespectful. He's not a thing. He's a rock. He is The Rock.
He is not The Rock, but he is
The Rock. The Rock. Fantastic Four brand.
Made of rocks.
Made of Rock Man.
Made of Rock Man. That should be his new name. Yeah, I like this movie. I've seen it 4 times now. I know it... For the people reviewing got kind of an ick about the gay and the religion, but I think, movies are meant to be discussed and not everyone's going to view them the same way. If I was having a college LGBTQ film class, I would bring this one up just to talk about and see people's different viewpoints, because that was something that I didn't specifically pick up on. So I think it's interesting that I saw a bunch of other people saying that. I was like, I didn't think about that, but also, I don't know if I agree, but also, I can see your viewpoint. So, yeah, I that's another thing about this movie that I was like, oh, I never thought about that before. I was more thinking about the morality thing, and
And maybe he intentionally put it in there, the author or Midnight. I'm going to call him Midnight.
Shamalama Ding Dong.
Maybe they intentionally put in there to start a conversation. Not for malice, but to start a conversation of why is this a trope? And maybe that could start a conversation. Maybe I'm giving him way too much credit.
Yeah.
Midnight, not... I always call him Midnight. What's his first name?
M. Night.
M. Night.
Yeah, it's like M. Night Shyamalan.
What's his first name? Is his middle name Night?
I don't know if that's his actual name. I don't know if the M stands for something. I honestly was going to look that up because I was like, is his name M. Night? Because people kept referring to him as Night, not
I got
his
it.
full name.
I have
so
Google.
I was like, is his name Night? I don't know.
Midnight. Okay, what's your name? Okay. Oh. That name.
Bhavna
So that's why...
Vaswani.
Where did you see that?
Or am I reading his spouse?
That's the spouse.
Sorry.
I was pointing up here. That's his name.
I read his spouse.
So it's M is that.
Manoj no.
I think J's are silent.
Oh, so he
Manoy.
He shortened it to M.
And this kind of sounds like Night, most likely. So that's why
but
he did M
Shyamalan
Night.
is his last name.
Yeah. So yeah, that's probably order you should watch M Night Shyamalan movies. I'm never gonna say his last name right. Midnight Shyamalan. I have my brain.
Never forgive him
I have
for
a
the
fat
Avatar movie though. You can make other good movies,
here's
but
the thing.
I will never forgive you.
Here's the thing.
for that.
Here's the thing. The only good thing I can say about the Avatar movie is it's fantastic when you're drunk. It is one of the best movies to watch when you're drunk, when you love the original show. Oh my God, it's so fucking funny while drunk. We watched it while I was drunk. I was tipsy, but I was pretty drunk. I said I was tipsy, I was drunk. We watched it. We only watched we watched a good amount of it. It was only like an hour and a half movie.
Yeah.
And so we watched a good amount of it. And it was hilarious while drunk because it's like, what the fuck you doing, man? This makes no sense.
Yeah.
I did like the guy that they had play the brother. What's his name?
Sokka?
So, yeah.
He's Jackson Rathbone. He plays Jasper. Let me tell you, because that movie came out, I think 2010. So right in my peak Twilight time, I was like, oh my gosh. 1, I love Avatar The Last Airbender. 2, I love Jackson Rathbone because he's Jasper. I gotta see this. And then I remember even being a kid being like,
what?
This is trash.
When sober, when I think about it, I don't think the plot is horrible. I just think, hey, this is like an Asian-inspired, like, anime-inspired TV show that's set in, like, Asia. Why are they all white?
Yeah.
And aren't the only Asians the bad people? So, I mean, like...
Also,
What?
Yeah.
And also they're, like, Indian.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. Because he's Indian.
Yeah.
So he made the only people who are Asian...
The
bad people, but they're Indian.
I think that's just another M. Night Shyamalan thing where he just, like... He can be a competent director, but sometimes I think he just doesn't think. It just goes over his head, and he's like,
oh yes, a movie about Asia, all white people.
Like he just because he seems like a nice guy too. Like I was watching a bunch of Knock at the Cabin interviews with the cast, and they're like, oh, I love working with M. Night Shyamalan. Like he's such a nice guy. He's very like comforting. Like when you're there, he's like a challenging director. Like he expects a lot out of his actors, but he's a really nice guy, and like it's just
he just doesn't think sometimes. Or sometimes he's like, I just want to do my own thing. He's kind of like
too much,
or he thinks too much. I think he's on the same line of like James. Isn't his name like James Gunn? No. Yes, the guy who did Saw and then Megan. Is that James Gunn?
James Wan.
James Wan. Who's James Gunn?
James Gunn is Suicide Squad.
Gotcha.
And then the second one, and then Guardians.
Yeah. So James Wan.
Yeah.
They're on the same boat because like they're amazing. They're geniuses. But sometimes they're like, let's just throw shit at the wall and see if it fits.
Yeah.
See if it works.
That kind of thing. Like I think that's why M. Night Shyamalan's movies also, like, he can have a good movie, and then he can have a bad movie, and then he can have a mediocre movie. He's just throwing shit.
He's rich. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, honestly. Yeah. He's like, you think I will lose money over this? Honey, I just gained.
Yeah, it's so funny to think about him.
We need to watch Old, because I want to drink while watching Old. Because I've heard it's horribly funny when it's not supposed to be, and I'm so excited.
Old is so weird. It's so weird. But there's one scene though that's perfect.
Right. Up my alley. Did you break your nail?
No, I just got my finger stuck in.
Okay. You made that face like I just broke a nail.
I thought maybe I also ripped off the thing, but it's fine. Yeah, anyways, so
final thoughts.
We're gonna do our
final thoughts.
Yeah.
Fakes and not fakes.
Yeah.
I think we already went through that. What we wanted fakes and what we didn't want fakes.
My main fix is, from what I understand from the book, there is so much more ambiguity about whether or not it's real. And I wish they would have brought that into the movie. Because I understand mainstream-wise why they didn't go that way, because that tends to not really go over well with a large audience. But the way that the book is written and what happens in the book, it just seems like there's a lot more questioning, so it keeps you guessing on whether or not
and they did it for all of it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fake. Maybe it's real. Maybe this is fake.
Yeah.
And they did well, and they just tied it into a bow. In this movie, because it was so ambiguous, I wish they didn't tie it into a bow, because it makes more sense, because the whole theme is it real or not?
Yeah.
And then at the end, they're like, it's real!
I think it would have been interesting to just leave the movie and, if it was just them in the treehouse and still raining, and then is the apocalypse still going on?
Or cut out the whole diner scene and just have them getting into the car in the movie, the music.
It's
That's it.
Is it the apocalypse? Is it not? I just wish they
Fast and Furious can do it. Why can't we?
Yeah. I just wish they did a little bit more, because I really want to read the book, even though I know what happens in the book. But I'm not going to say. But, the book keeps you guessing a little bit more, where I feel like this movie, even though I really like this movie, it does end up being no, it is this, the Four Horsemen, yes. It's...
We should go to Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
Let's go Sunday. We're going Sunday.
Okay.
We're going to Barnes & Noble. We're picking up the book, if they have it.
Yeah.
And we're reading it.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a book club.
Yeah.
Where we read the book. Well, you need to finish your book. And I need to finish mine. I'm still not done with Harry Potter book 4. I didn't even start. I'm never gonna finish Harry Potter.
Mm.
This is my first time reading Harry Potter, bitches. I am so late in the game.
Yeah.
And I already know major plots.
Yeah.
That's fine. But yeah, I think we already talked a lot about the strengths and things we would like to fix. But I would give
Dave Bautista. Summed up in one thing.
Dave Bautista. I'm going to do a rating, because I don't really do it. 10. No, that's not right. 9. Because of the Horsemen. They did that. Perfect. I think I would have given it a perfect 10. Even with it tying it into a bow and everything.
Yeah.
I would have probably given it a perfect 10 if they didn't do the shit with the Horsemen. Or did the shit in the way I said.
Yeah.
Making it make sense. But 9. You got a whole point off of that. Accuracy is my bitch. You need to be accurate with shit.
Or just not.
Or just not include it.
I know you're talking, what were you thinking? Yeah, I like this movie. I am not good with ratings, because I rate everything. If you see my K-drama list, everything's an 8. Unless it's something that I absolutely love, it goes to a 10.
Or one of mine that's a 2.5.
My ratings, there's just nothing in between. I think the lowest thing I've ever rated was a 5. And that's absolutely, I hate it.
I showed her my drama list ratings and such. She's like, whoa, why is there a 2.5? And I went, I absolutely fucking hated it.
Just don't ever, rate things super low. I'm always, very nice. So maybe it's good I didn't go down the route of, movie critic, even though I do like to tear apart movies that I don't like.
You could do movie critic, but just not ratings.
Yeah, that's true.
You can just do a blog where you do ratings.
Because I can say, I don't like a movie, but when it comes to rating, I could use 6. Even
I hate this movie.
6.
6.
It's I don't know what happens in my brain with rating, but it just goes.
It's okay.
6.
You don't need to do a rating. I'll do the ratings. How about that? Because I have a good, honest opinion. Unless you absolutely hate it. Love Rosie, 1. Your point of view, solid 9. I would put them at the same. I would rewatch this movie. Let's say not, because I don't really rewatch a lot of movies I don't really like, or I'm neutral about.
Yeah.
I go, maybe if I'm bored. But we're at 1:45. We're 15 minutes over.
Yeah.
Damn it! All right. Well, we're gonna do our sign off now. We're rushing because Lyrica needs food and sleep. She's sick. Ish.
I think it's just because I'm sick.
And I gotta pee.
Yeah.
So sign off.
This is it.
That's not right. Our sign off.
Sorry. My brain has been broken.
Edward.
Don't be an Edward.
Go watch your Friends, the TV show.
Go watch your Friends. You said.
Oh, go watch. Don't go watch your Friend. Go watch Friends, the TV show.
Just like
not your actual
me.
friends.
I'm almost done with season 1.
You're not even. You got 9 more seasons.
I'm getting up there though.
I'm proud. I'm finally convinced her to watch Friends, and then we need to watch it together for some of my favorite episodes. Season 5 is where I like it because Monica and Chandler.
I'm excited for that because I like when shows start with a group of characters and then you don't see that romantic interest, but then down the line they like 2 of the friends or 2 of the group become romantic interests. I love seeing that.
And the way they do it is fantastic.
Yeah.
But anyways, cut. What was that noise that came out of you?